Hi, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Tips with Terry. I hope you're having a great day so far. And today I want to talk to you about a really cool thing that happened on a recent trip I had to Boston that probably never would have happened were it not for social media. And so listen to the opportunities where you can actually use social media to really connect with your customers and prospects that much more deeply as I tell this story. So you know me, I love telling stories, and there's always cool stuff that I encounter, and I'm like, oh, I gotta share that in a video, right? So I was in Boston, and I go to Boston quite a bit because I have a lot of clients that are based in New England. And I was recently up, and I did something. I traveled a little differently than I normally do. Usually, I fly in, I rent a car because my clients are all over the area. And this time I decided to stay in the city and not rent a car and just Uber to all of my clients. And it actually worked out really well. So, just travel tip for you, just look at those options, compare the prices, because you may be surprised it might actually be a little bit more affordable for your business expenses. So I'm in Boston, and I've got 4 or 5 days there of a lot of visits I'm trying to coordinate. And because I was staying in the city, which is very unusual, I had a whole different array of things I could do, from not only like dinners in the evenings, but also things that I could see and enjoy just around downtown Boston. And I think the first morning I was there, I came out of the hotel. I was staying in the financial district, if any of you know Boston. And I went across the street to a little coffee shop and sat down and had my morning coffee and did a little selfie and posted it to LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Say, hey, I'm in Boston. All my Boston peeps. Just if we hadn't hooked up, let me know. Blah blah. And it was really interesting because within an hour, I got a message on LinkedIn from my buddy Jim. Now, Jim was not necessarily my buddy. He was someone who reached out to me on LinkedIn earlier in February to connect, as many professionals do. I mean, that's how we get started with LinkedIn, right? We get our connections and we grow our network and we start building relationships. And so Jim was already, obviously I was showing up in his news feed, and he sent me a private message, and it said, Terry, I can see you're in Boston. If you'd like to get a tour of HubSpot while you're here, let me know. I'd love to show you around. We have great snacks, which I thought was really cute. And so it was short, sweet, and he talked to me like I was a friend, like he'd known me for years, when in fact Jim and I had never met. We'd never talked on the phone or really even emailed for that matter. He was just a LinkedIn contact. And so it really surprised me that he not only saw that, but invited me to come tour HubSpot where he works. And I thought that was really cool. And I was like, wow, check it out. So long story short, I worked out my week where I was able to actually take him up on his offer. And when I got to HubSpot's located in Cambridge, which is just north of the city. And they had converted these old mills, these beautiful brick buildings, these historic buildings, into their workspace. And if you're ever in Cambridge or ever in Boston, give my buddy Jim a call and say, hey, take me on a tour of HubSpot, because it's the coolest place. It really, really is. They've done a beautiful job branding the interior of their company and created workspaces that are incredibly modern and innovative and encourage collaboration and enjoyment of the actual work environment. So, if you ever have the opportunity to go check out HubSpot, please do so. So anyway, I get to HubSpot and I'm all excited. I'm taking pictures and everything. And I go in and I meet Jim and shake his hand. I'm like, hey, I said, I have to ask you, how did you even see my post, or how did this all happen? Because here I'm thinking, oh, there's this really sophisticated app that listens for anybody, maybe posting about Boston or anything like that. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's this huge technology back end. When in fact, he goes, well, actually, he says, I was just scrolling through my news feed, saw that you were in Boston, and just figured I'd ask you to come over. It was the coolest thing. And here I am thinking, it's this big, like, they have like a team that listens socially to what everybody's saying and everything about HubSpot and about, being in Boston or whatever. Anyway, but it was really that simple. It was just 1, 2, 3. He was looking at his thing and he was inspired to just say, hey, come on by. And so it was really awesome that I got a chance to meet Jim, a LinkedIn contact that I'd never met before, never talked to before. And I took him up on the offer, and he spent a good 45 minutes touring me through all 3 buildings that they have there, explaining, what each area was and how they all work together. And it was just truly fascinating. And since it's been so long since I've been like working in a corporate environment like that, the last corporate gig I had was like 12, 13 years ago. And it was with Marriott, the best company on the planet. But it was nowhere near as amazing as this space was. And I just love to see companies that are innovative with their space planning, as well as what they're doing to keep their employees engaged and involved and collaborating and cross-training and all those great things. So, again, check out HubSpot if you can, but just pay particular attention to this whole experience of this perfect stranger, really. I mean, he was virtually a stranger aside from us being connected on LinkedIn, reaching out and inviting me. Now, if I had even never gone, like if I didn't have the time to go, that still would have gone a long way in deepening that relationship. And I've actually advised my clients, reach out to people, pick up the phone, send them an email, say, hey, I'm going to be in town. You want to get together? 9 times out of 10, they're going to be too busy or it just won't work. But they'll remember that you made the effort. And as long as you're doing it with integrity and authentically, then of course it's going to go a long way to building that relationship if you really care. So thanks again, Jim, if you're watching, for a great tour of HubSpot. I really enjoyed meeting you and spending time with you and seeing that great place that you work. And keep those tours going because it's doing a lot of good for exposing the great HubSpot brand. And I hope to see you sometime soon on my next trip up to Boston. And you guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you have any questions about today's topic or want to hear more about my story and my tour of HubSpot, you can reach me at terry@better3.com or just head on over to Better3 and I will hopefully see you soon. All right, take care, guys.